Hello, hello, and welcome back to Grace Nicole Myths Astrology and Tarot. These are the secret code name readings for the new moon in Aquarius, themed Seeing Clearly. All right, those of you who got secret code names, you purchased your secret code name, you know which secret code name is yours. For those of you who did not purchase one but are resonating to one or drawn to one, there is most likely a message in there for you. Hey, hey, hey. There's most likely a message in there for you. Okay, this is secret code name Morgana. Also, I have no filter and I don't sugarcoat myself at all. So keep it in mind. All right, I just read. I'm using my Prisma Visions Tarot and my White Light Oracle cards. All right, so for secret code name Morgana and those who would be drawn to it, what do they need to see clearly? What do they need to see clearly? What's going on? The High Priestess, Illumination, and the Nine of Swords. Clarity, please. All right. Seven of Swords on the bottom. Ace of Pentacles on top. All right, so first and foremost, you know you need to lay a brand new foundation and walk out the door, right? You know you need to essentially and quite possibly move, that you have an intuitive knowing of that with the High Priestess clarified by the Chariot. Seven of Swords on the bottom, with the Devil underneath of that, you know someone is completely going against your truth, possibly trying to manipulate young or youth, with the King of Swords under that. You can see they're wearing the mask and holding the sword up like a wand, and they're trying to distract the young swans inside the nest. We got the Devil with that. Someone who you feel like you are always on your last leg with. They are robbing your mental peace, or mental peace in general. Now, the High Priestess, like I said, clarified by the Chariot, could definitely and very well indicate that you know you need to move, right? You might also know that the Divine is going to intervene on your behalf in some which way, shape, or form. That a miracle is due to you, okay? The Illumination of the Eight of Cups. The Illumination is a special card specifically to this deck. Clarified by the Eight of Chalices. I just heard smoke and mirrors. Like, you've got to understand that you might be caught in what is essentially someone's web. If you look at this card, it kind of looks like a web. It also looks like like shattered glass. It's making it difficult to see clearly through. And we do have this angry Mother Goose type swan energy, the jaws of this person who are open and facing this child, right, who has a mask and a sash on, and he's barefooted in the snow. Like, he's not equipped to deal with this very aggressive energy. Could potentially be family related or ancestral, with the Judgment card clarifying. It's also telling me karma will take care of it. Destiny will take care of it. Like, these are two different cards that you have with an open door, and you got to walk through the door to relieve your experience of this person. You might feel like you're leaving something behind or leaving someone unfulfilled behind, especially if they're much older, only because the gentleman in this card is in fact bald. Tends to come along with older aged men. They're walking through a purification by fire themselves. You can see that the swirls are kind of like a veil blocking what's behind, and behind you could start to see peeking through because an entryway is opening, the cosmos or the night sky. You don't need to have it all planned out. Like, your intuition knows, and you just need to heed the intuition. Take your mind or logics and reasoning or excuses out of it. Because you have a very dominating maternal energy. Doesn't have to be your mother per se, it could just be a mother. But it's very aggressive towards the younger child. Could even be, because if you're an adult, right? I would hope you're an adult watching this channel. If you were drawn to this reading, could even be a grandmother dealing with the younger child, right? The child of their child. But you're dealing with a very aggressive mother goose type energy, and getting stuck in a mental web to where you can't see clearly, because it's almost like they've cracked the glass or instilled some kind of thought in your mind that would prevent you or try and keep you from moving, that they would steal it from you, right? This devil energy. That they would manipulate the energy or the transformation of the children. They're not serving them. Spirit needs you to see this very, very clearly. And it's telling me constantly, like, it's okay. You're not leaving anyone behind. You'd be surprised. It's almost like no sooner than you move, this opens up, and that's the way it's meant to be. Especially if we are dealing with, you know, the Judgment card and family and death and resurrection and reincarnation and all of these things. Like, it might be someone's time to be called, and they could even be holding on because you're still there, instead of moving forward through the veil. Which is why you're being so pulled to move forward. And it's almost as if planning and trying to buy yourself time is adverse, because the doors are open right now. What's the guidance, please, Spirit? What's the guidance for secret codename Morgana? See, Morgana is a high priestess, a goddess of darkness. She's not shadow, but she is the dark to the light, the healing that comes along from the acknowledgement of the darker aspects of choices. Like, someone else might not like it. Someone else might have something to say about it, quite literally. Someone else might have something to say about it. And it might not be kind. Matter of fact, you might have nightmares about it or have extreme anxiety about it, dealing with them, making the choice you want to make, when you want to make it. But the fact of the matter is, there is a certain level of healing that is there for them in the mirror, dealing with that darkness, right? It's not malicious shadow, it's just the dark. What is the guidance? The Oracle of Chaldea and Obadiah. All right. Cards number 37 and 3. Also, you have multiple 2s here and multiple 7s. Okay, so 3s, 2s, and 7s might be a big deal for you synchronistically to remind you of this message. That it is okay to balance within, ascend the reality from within yourself, and create miracles in your life, right? Numerology. Card number 37. It's interesting, I'm seeing little feathers floating around now out of nowhere. Call on your angels and your ancestors. Oracle of Chaldea. Continue on your healing journey with enthusiasm, but without forcing things to happen more quickly than feels natural. Sometimes the body will be ready to let go while the mind is still holding on. At other times, the mind may need to be patient as the body processes an experience. Trust in your own timing and rhythm. There is no need to be impatient or judge yourself sooner or later. You are summoning the spiritual fortitude to tackle an issue which has previously held you back and continues to. When the time is right, the healing shall happen more easily than if you tried to push forward prematurely. Things are going to work out. Stay positive. There are times when being present in the body and feeling our truth is challenging. We may be unsure how to hold space for our own emotional and psychological states. Humans are complex creatures, and the authentic healing journey requires us to have patience with ourselves. We need to know when it is safe to delve into a matter with full faith that, even if things feel out of control, that we are connected to a powerful, supportive spiritual network and our own wisdom. And that's enough to handle whatever arises, even if we tremble somewhat during the process. We can imagine that the wounded self lives in a room in a mansion of our soul. When that room has not been entered in a long time, it may have become a scary place in our minds, a place to avoid. That is part of how humans protect themselves. Living in such a split and defended state is not tenable forever. But for a time, it can serve a useful purpose, allowing us to build strength and awareness we need to address the situation. We do what we can to grow and prepare to enter that room, to open it and rescue the beautiful aspect of our soul that's been waiting for such a time to come. To prepare for such a heroic healing moment, we can connect with the spiritual realms of light as a source of love and strength. During such downtime with the divine, we can learn about ourselves beyond our wounded parts. While we know we have some healing to do, we also understand that alongside our vulnerability, there is courage, wisdom, and confidence. By acknowledging our wounds and also affirming our strengths, we ready ourselves to take the next step. The Chaldean is the devotee of the light of spirit. When the Oracle of Chaldea comes to you, it is an encouragement to rely on the light. Embrace practices that help you feel connected to the light. Grow your trust in the spirit within you. This is not about ignoring where you need healing. It is about knowing at a deep level that you are loved, spiritually guided, divinely held, worthy, and capable of healing. As your trust in the spiritual light within you and your connection to the spiritual world increases, so too will your readiness to acknowledge and engage with that which needs healing. You'll feel safe and supported and ready to move on. Told you it's having you face some things, right? Knowing that there is this need intuitively to move forward, and that you may be getting red flags and other things that you're intuitively picking up on, dealing with this nightmare state, knowing that there's doors you need to walk through. You can't rush it, because if you're not ready to face the healing of yourself, it only causes more chaos. You have to allow yourself time to be ready to open the door and move on. To be able to go into that shadow and recognize you're not a bad person just because maybe someone says that or someone reacts harshly to your choice, right? You have to be ready to face the harsh reality, which is something you may have been previously avoiding, right? You have to be ready to say, you know what, Spirit, I could take it. I could take it. I could trust it. I still know that my intuition is pulling me in this direction, right? Regardless of other people, and I can heal that aspect of myself that has been locked away in the dark room and is afraid. I can rescue that part of self that is afraid and say, you don't have to be afraid anymore. You can come out. Fuck the shadow room, you know? Come and see the better parts of me, rescuing that part of the self. Obadiah. Card number 3, to further clarify that guidance. It says, do not turn away from your path, nor from what you know in your heart to be true. No matter what appears to be, nor what logic may dictate, trust what your heart is telling you. You are safe and protected by Spirit. You are spiritually empowered with all you need to manifest your authentic soul path. You have what it takes to connect with the light and live that connection in practical ways which contribute positive energy to our human collective. Obadiah is the Latin basis for the word obedience. Far from conforming to authority, the original meaning was to listen, to hear, and to not turn away. The Oracle of Obadiah is about becoming a sacred rebel, giving up faith in the ways of the world and embracing the ways of the Spirit unconditionally. That means refusing to torture yourself with horror stories that society and your own mind can conjure up from time to time. This guidance is encouraging you to connect through your heart with the spiritual light, wisdom, and guidance within yourself. The Oracle asks you to believe in the power of Spirit to show you the way through all troubles. There is a message from our loving universe for you, and you will feel it in your own heart. You may consider yourself to be a feisty, independent, strong person rather than one who is docile and surrendered in spirit. A vibrant and powerful personality may feel initial resistance or confusion when asked to become soft in the ways of Spirit. Yet this sort of obedience is not about giving away your power or becoming someone you are not. When we are receptive to Spirit, we become more unique, not less. This oracle asks us to get out of our own way. Often we make things more difficult for ourselves, even when our intentions are good. This is because we see things from a limited or partial perspective. This doesn't mean we should refuse to act at all. It just means that as we practice sensing and following Spirit by tuning into the heart and how we feel, we will act from a more centered and wisely guided place. Our actions will be more likely to hit the mark. When we flow with the greater wisdom of life, far-reaching positive consequences awaken. Recognizing that Spirit is wiser than your own personal opinion is the prelude to true awakening. The more awakened you are, the more genuine benefit for all beings can unfold through our endeavors. To be clear, the guidance of this oracle is not to hand over your power, nor to seek out spirit to tell you what to do. It is always up to you to exercise your free will and live your life as you choose. Sometimes the responsibility behind such freedom might seem too much, but this is our task as human beings, to own our freedom and exercise it with wisdom and delight. When you trust your courage more than your doubt, you will be ready to listen to spirit and act on what you perceive. You will be capable, willing, and ready to live as a light on this earth. You are encouraged to ditch the drug of doubt. Doubt undermines your confidence and sends you on a mission to gain approval before making every decision. Approval can become the hit that alleviates doubt temporarily, but it prevents you from building the strength you need to listen for your own spiritual knowing. You have it within you to be spiritually sovereign. This oracle asks you to recognize your inner potential and to practice trusting yourself and your capacity to respond to life's unpredictable happenings with soul-honoring integrity. You are learning how to trust yourself, to not doubt yourself. And if something inside your spirit is telling you to move forward, don't doubt the timing. Spirit doesn't make mistakes. Spirit, capital S, is within you, yourself, capital S. They're not separate. If your spirit, yourself, your soul is telling you it's time for something, then feel good about trusting yourself, no matter what that is. Because while you're busy doubting yourself, doubting being a low vibration, you do have this devil energy trying to manipulate the transformation of young souls. It would damage the progress or the path, right? It would cause childhood wounds because you're dealing with your own, right? In the divine mirror, if you're dealing with your own childhood wounds and they're not healing, it's reflecting in that manifestation with potentially people younger than you that you're responsible for. So trust yourself. And that is secret code name Morgana. So I hope that serves you well. I have faith that it will. This is Grace Nicole Myths signing out. I will see you shortly for the next secret code name. My love and support is with you always, always. Remember to love each other, but most importantly, love yourself.